Fuck around, make my 40 pop.
Alright guys, there's going to finally be some conflict in the Boruto anime. We're going to actually talk about it in this particular episode right here. Now if you guys don't necessarily know, I haven't necessarily been keeping up with the Boruto anime that much, but I recently caught back up in the past 2 or 3 days. I like binge watched probably like 10 plus episodes or something like that. Now probably a little bit less than that, but I binge watched a lot of episodes and now I'm finally caught up so I can finally talk about this particular episode right here, because again, the first bit of actual conflict, and I'm super glad. Now, I'm not necessarily glad about what happens here, but I'm glad for the conflict. But let's get into the actual spoilers. By the way, shout out to Organic Dinosaur for actually translating these spoilers. The title for Boruto episode 266 is going to be the kidnapping of Himawari. Into the actual paragraph, it says, Himawari becomes enveloped into a kidnapping and ransom situation. The original target was her classmate, Osuka, whose mother is a famous actress. But when the ringleader of the kidnappers realized that Himawari is the daughter of the Hokage, they plan on trying to use this fact to their advantage. They could stand to gain even greater profit from this scenario. Meanwhile, Kawaki has become aware of the incident. Kei is concerned for both Himawari and Osuka. Kei, Kawaki, Neon, and their friends work together with all their might in order to try and figure out Himawari and Osuka's whereabouts. Alright, so this right here, again, one of the first bits of conflict, Himawari is actually kidnapped. Now, if you guys aren't necessarily completely familiar with this arc, and I'm sure a lot of you guys probably are, but for the people who aren't necessarily completely familiar with this particular situation, Kawaki is actually in the academy school. He is an academy student as of right now. Kawaki is essentially here because he's in an undercover mission to actually protect Kei. Now, it turns out that Kei is actually coming with Kawaki to actually look for Himawari, which isn't necessarily a surprise, mainly because Kawaki does have to keep an eye on her, but now it seems like his number one mission right now is going to be to actually retrieve Himawari. The interesting thing about this, however, is the fact that in the actual preview about this particular episode, they aren't fully sure if Himawari is actually kidnapped. Now again, they might actually show that a little bit later on. They didn't necessarily talk about it a lot in the actual preview, or they did talk about it a lot, but they didn't necessarily say that she was kidnapped. They're essentially saying that it was weird that Himawari was missing. Now again, if this is the case, I expect that the academy students are probably going to actually try to look for her, mainly because they think that she's probably lost or something like that. A bunch of things that could possibly go wrong. But if this thing right here actually does escalate, I wouldn't be too surprised to see Naruto get involved, because let's be honest, that is Naruto's child. People are legitimately trying to come for Himawari. We haven't necessarily seen Naruto rage that much, but if there was any sort of possibility of Naruto actually raging, it would definitely be in a situation like this. One of the things that we know for a fact is that you never really play with anyone's kids, but also especially the daughters. Like, what are they doing? Like, what are they doing? Now, I personally believe that we're probably not necessarily going to get to see any sort of big fight scenes in this particular episode, but the lore and plot building for this particular episode, I expect it to be very, very tense. I hope it's going to be very, very tense. I hope we do see Naruto get involved, and not only that, I hope they continue on with the character building that we have been seeing over the past couple of episodes. We kind of got to see a different side of Kawaki, but specifically we got to see a different side of Himawari, especially the fact that she actually did show us her Byakugan a couple of episodes ago, and to be honest, she had her Byakugans activate in a couple episodes. She didn't necessarily say that she had full control over, and I definitely do want to make a full video about that, talking about how she could possibly only have this blue eye and never really have the full Byakugan, but it could kind of be like a Sharingan, so it changes colors when she does activate her dojutsu, a bunch of things like that. But that's besides the point. I still do want to point this out. Himawari in this particular situation can actually show what she's actually about. We understand that Himawari hasn't necessarily seen that much action, that much battle or anything like that, but if there is a possibility for us to see some sort of action in regards to Himawari fighting, I think that this right here will probably be the best time to see it. Hopefully we do. I don't necessarily think it's going to be the case in the next episode, but I definitely do hope we do see some ninja tendencies from Himawari. Maybe she does analyze the situation. Maybe she herself manages to leave behind a trail that Kawaki and the rest can find. A bunch of things that could potentially happen. I'm not gonna lie, I don't necessarily want to like toot my own horn or anything like that, and it's definitely not a situation like this that I expect Himawari to be kidnapped, but I said a very long time ago that I think that Himawari is there to be kidnapped. I don't know why, it just feels like it. This might be some foreshadowing, but this is definitely not what I was thinking about. I think that this right here is definitely not going to be a big situation. Obviously, a lot of the manga readers know this is not going to be a big situation at all, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see exactly how Kawaki, Himawari, Team 7 potentially, and potentially even Naruto handles this situation. Are they going to actually be in full rage mode? I really do hope so, but not only that, we're probably going to get to see a bit more spoilers about this particular arc coming up very soon. I personally don't really like this arc too much. This is just me. I understand that. I understand what they're doing. They're trying to build up the character of Himawari. I think they could have potentially done it a lot better, but I don't necessarily think it's the worst. Like, let's be honest, we've seen a full-blown JoJo arc. But let me know what you guys think about this episode in the comment section down below. What do you guys expect to actually see? Do you guys think that Naruto's actually going to get involved, or you guys think this is going to be strictly for the academy students, and the Boruto writers kind of letting the academy students decide exactly how to figure out the situation and actually maneuver in difficult situations? But it's been your boy Barby, and we out.
It's a knife.